Before we get into the rest of the video for the Philadelphia Eagles, I had to add this clip in because it is breaking news that Avante Maddox has been released. Now, the Eagles only saved $2 million. Post-June designation would have been 7.1. Why they're just releasing him now, I have no idea. You want to get prepared for free agency, I get it, but, you would have saved an extra 7.1. There is news that, an available return for Avante Maddox on a new deal could happen with the Philadelphia Eagles, but I don't know what Avante Maddox worth is as of now on a new reworked contract if they were to bring him back, but it's already enough. You have Zech McPherson coming off an ACL. That nickel position is very weak, and the availability of Avante Maddox is a weak point right now. So I don't know what the Eagles are going to do for the future, but I need to say this: don't be afraid to get new blood into your secondary. I just always feel like they always want to bring guys back, that they never want to move on at certain times. Maybe Vic Fangio likes Maddox a little bit more. Maybe he thinks that, if staying healthy, he could be something. The issue is, like we said, it's the injuries. And if he's not available, then, if they bring him back, they need to have a reliable backup or somebody that could start day one. I don't know, because I do not trust Avante Maddox even staying healthy for one day. It could be the toe, it could be the shoulder, it could be the hamstring, it could be the calves, it could be anything at this point. Torn ACL, Achilles, he's been through it all. I would have rather had a designated post-June release. I wonder if they'll designate him to post-June, if they could still do that at this point and save more money. I don't know why they just wouldn't take more cap. Do they think that there's a weakness at the position right now? Do they not think highly of Isaiah Rodgers taking that spot? I think you have to give these other cornerbacks a chance. I think you have to cross-train some of these guys, not Eli Ricks, not Keely Ringo. I think Rodgers would be one guy would cross-train in the off-season program from outside to inside corner and see how he does. He's fast, he's twitchy. I think, maybe he can handle it. But with two guys right now, if you bring Maddox back, are they still going to go through this whole recycling crap of using Maddox, making sure he's not going to get hurt, and then, Zech McPherson's coming off an ACL, and usually guys that come off big injuries like that don't necessarily get back to normal within 1 year. It's really tough for guys to come back off of those injuries and play really well. And this is a really important year for the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't want them to ignore a position now because they are too emotional to bring Avante Maddox back. I think it would just be bad for business and just bad for the right of this team in general. I hope they make the right decision, so Maddox could sign anywhere else he wants. He's technically a free agent right now, but if he's cut, I wonder if they do change, the designate post-June cut instead, because they get more compensation back. I don't know why Howie wouldn't want another $7.1 million back in the cap. Jesus, they already have over, about 47 already with this move, and could have a lot more. Could have over $50 million with this move in general, and we haven't even extended HaasonReddick or traded him away yet for even another $11 to $16 million, whatever is going to free up there, which is going to be another big chunk. And then the obviously the Kevin Byard thing, happened as well. So cap space has been freed up, a couple $1 million. Avante Maddox is gone. I don't really agree with bringing him back. And, how much is he really worth on knowing his injury history? Like, is he really worth a mid-tier contract? Is that what you're going to try to do with him at this point? I think they got to be really careful when dealing with Avante Maddox and this injury, and I guess we'll see what happens. But that is the breaking news. Avante Maddox released, and hopefully more news comes of that, and why they didn't do a post-June designation for more cap space coming back to the cap, and why they're still holding on to Avante Maddox at this point. Enjoy the rest of the video. Yes. He put out that tweet, and I already knew he was going to be a Philadelphia Eagle.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yeah, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So there's a lot of stuff going on now regarding the Eagles free agency. If you guys didn't know, the tampering period for free agency is March 11th to the 13th. March 11th, you could sign players, but they won't be official till the 13th at 4 p.m. Now, Xavier McKinney went on social media and said something, a cryptic tweet, a cryptic message. That was kind of interesting. Now, we know that Xavier McKinney, 24 years old, I think is one of the top prospects for the Philadelphia Eagles, okay? I think Xavier McKinney, Cameron Curl, I think those are like our top two, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Those are our top three safeties as of right now going into free agency, which it seems like the rumor is right now the Eagles are very high on safeties in the free agent market. And I don't blame them because there is a lot of them, especially when you have this cap now. Take advantage of the situation. A tweet from Xavier McKinney saying, starting to see this life shit from a bird's view. It just fits so well, and it sounds so, you're gonna say, Joe, it's just a tweet, stop making a big deal out of it. But I can't just not make a big deal out of it, because I think the Philadelphia Eagles are high in on Xavier McKinney. Okay, now, from what we've heard contract-wise, what his worth value is to what McKinney wants. Now, McKinney wants about $17 million a year. It's a hefty price, but this is free agency. You're going to have to pay for players, okay? Especially, you're not paying for a 30-year-old. You're not trading for a 30-year-old. The one thing I don't want them to sign, and going back to as a recycled process, is bringing in old vets. I'm tired of it. We need to get younger in this defense. And Xavier McKinney fits the mold in Philadelphia with his coverage, his ball skills, everything in general. I think it's the perfect fit here. As much as I like Cameron Curl, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson will probably be a lot cheaper, but are you getting more of a better player with McKinney for what the Eagles want in Vic Fangio's scheme, in this 3-4 scheme? Okay, now, his worth value on Spot Track Online is about 10.4, but because he is a free agent, because he wants what he wants, and the Giants didn't end up tagging him, thank God, to make him available, he wants $17 million a year. Will the Eagles give it? They're going to have to at this point. I mean, this is one of the, I think this is the perfect free agency. And I'm not saying this just to say it. I think this free agency is so perfect for the needs of the Philadelphia Eagles and what they really need for this roster with the cap space that normally the Eagles do not have. I know it's north of $44 million right now with one move, but as soon as you get the HaasonReddick extension, it's 11, or a trade, it's more than 11 million back, over 50. Avante Maddox getting released, it's going to be over 60. It's within 3 moves. You're over $60 million in cap space. The Eagles never have this at all. And because you have some prospects that you've drafted the last few years that are going to be staples in this defense, you can go out and afford to do things like this. Xavier McKinney putting out this tweet really opened my eyes a little bit more to seeing how realistic this can really be, down the road. So very excited. Can't wait to see how much more truth that is in this with Xavier McKinney. This tweet it kind of turned me a little bit. But at the same time, I know people are going to say, dude, it's just a tweet because he said birds in it, blah, blah, blah. I think it's the Eagles are they're going to have to pay, man. It's going to have to happen. Don't go cheap. Don't go a vet that's going to get, the veteran, barely the veteran minimum. Like, I'm just not into it. I want to see if the philosophy is going to change, because I know they're not drafting a safety high. I understand that. They could draft another one in the mid rounds or something like that. Maybe day 2. Who knows? But Xavier McKinney, I think, is the number one man on the list for Philadelphia, especially with the front office and how interested they are. And I think Vic Fangio wants him a lot. So it's going to be really interesting going forward. Now, other news, HaasonReddick. Now, I don't know what's going on here. Adam Schefter put out some news that apparently Reddick, for a trade to happen, what the Eagles want, it is either going to be a second-round pick or it's going to be a 3rd and a 5th packaged up. And I'm telling you right now, if this trade is already going down, because this news doesn't make me feel comfortable because I already feel like the Eagles just don't want to give what Reddick wants at this point. Turning 30 years old in September. We know he's taking that number, but double-digit sacks and probably the best player on our defense last year. Will he fit in Vic Fangio's system? He should, because he's played out the outside linebacker position before, but does it make sense to put all that money into him if they're not going to use him to go after the quarterback? Okay. If they trade HaasonReddick, which it could happen, and they get a third and a fifth for him, I'm going to flip my shit. I said if you're not getting a first rounder, which if he was younger, you probably would, but the best second round pick you would get, you would have 3 second round picks, 4 fifth round picks, and a first round pick still intact. Okay? You're already picking at 22. If you have another second round pick, what makes it your third second round pick if you trade that for HaasonReddick, you better move up in this draft. You better move up back into the second round. There is no excuse why the Eagles should be sitting in the second round. You're not drafting 3 players in the second round if they end up getting a second round pick for him. I still think they should move up even if they extend Reddick. I still think with the 4 fifths and the 2 seconds, they should move back into the first and get a high target. Okay, they should 100%. No excuse for it. You got that third, second round pick. If they get that, you have to move up. You have to get a top talent in the first round. Okay, I don't even care. Package up multiple picks. You need to get more players on this team. The Eagles will probably fill a lot of holes with free agency, but this draft is one of the most important drafts. We said this going to the end of last year. This draft, because the Super Bowl window is open for the Eagles, and you're not going to replace a double-digit sack guy, but who knows what you could replace him with. Could replace him with another position, which we never thought of that the Eagles had interest in moving up into the first round again. You have to move into the first round if you get another second-round pick for HaasonReddick. And like I said before, you have to move into the first round, even if you extend him. I think the Eagles have way too much draft compensation just to sit there and move back a couple, move back some spots to get more draft picks for, the 25 draft or something like that. This is too valuable right now. Cannot waste any time. Cannot be cautious in this process. A third and a fifth would fucking ruin me. I think I would be like, really? Then if they give up Hassan for a third and a fifth, which is still more draft compensation. The Eagles only have 1 third round pick, and the Eagles would now have 5 fifth round picks if they get another fifth rounder, which I think is still compensation. But it's not the right compensation for the player. Okay, it's good compensation just to have compensation if we're just talking about the compensation. But as for the player and what you're getting for him, a second round pick is the highest number I would go. You have to get a second round pick for him if he gets traded. I hope they extend him. I hope it happens. Save up that money and still move up in the first. But let me tell you something. If they get a third and a fifth, I will think that is a really bad compensation to get back. A second round pick, trust me, I would love a first rounder. You're not going to get it. Second round pick, you got to get a high second round pick. Get another second round pick that makes you 3 second round picks and move up, please. Oh man, I really don't want him to get traded, but it's already seeming like at this point. Okay, I know radio talk shows have talked about this. Adam Schefter has talked about this as a possibility that the Eagles are going to trade HaasonReddick. I hope this draft compensation for a third and a fifth is wrong, and I hope the second round pick comes to Philadelphia. If there is no meeting in the middle with what Reddick wants in his number at $25 million, if they even will get close to that. Heard rumors they will pay 20 to 22, and 25 is way too high because, obviously he is underpaid. He's the 18th highest paid defensive end as of right now in the league. Or last year he was. Man, I hope we're wrong. I hope he does get extended, but if they do trade him, they have to go get a top talent for this. They got to replace it. You're going to be so empty at defensive end. Brandon Graham coming back and Josh Sweat being here is not enough. Josh Sweat on the last year of his deal. Brandon Graham will sign here for a 1-year deal, and you're going to be totally depleted after this year. So the draft board will probably change. Change with their first other pick at 22 will probably change if Reddick is gone. So that's something we have to keep watching out for going forward. Thirdly on the list, which I really didn't like, was Zach Ertz. He has signed a one-year deal going to the Washington Commanders of all places. Why is he going there? Okay, now Ertz isn't the same player. I think we all know that. Now, he wanted to be with Cliff Kingsbury and like the way he used him, I guess, in Arizona. I guess and Zach Ertz signed early. Now, he signed with the Lions during the playoffs, and they lost, and he didn't get a chance to play. But he signed with the team right now. Why did he sign so early? Because nobody wants him. Because he's got no interest. The longer he waits past free agency to the draft, why would Washington go get a washed-up tight end? And he's not good. Sorry, Zach Ertz is just not good enough. Especially for Washington. Whatever they needed quarterback. Why at this point? He wouldn't be as washed going into a team that already had a stacked offense. But with Washington right now, I mean, they have $93 million in cap space, and this is who they sign. They get rid of Logan Thomas, and this is who they sign. It makes no sense at all. So at least he's not on the Cowboys, but I still didn't like. He must have no interest from teams, because why the Commanders? I mean, seriously, they had the most cap space, so they probably threw him whatever at this point. But it's only worth up to $5 million. It's not even a full guaranteed $5 million. So the interest level from teams for Zach Ertz is definitely not there at all. So it's kind of crazy, but Zach Ertz is a Commander. I'm not worried about him doing a damn thing to us next year. It just sucks that he had to end up there, to be honest. And lastly, Jason Kelce. It looks like since the retirement, since the speech that was so hard to watch, he will be around the team this year. Not saying what he's going to do, but he said he won't be away from football. He'll be around the Philadelphia Eagles for this season coming up, the offseason program, all that great stuff. So interested to see if he gets an actual job as an assistant coach. And you know what? This would be the best for Cam Jurgens, not only having Jeff Stout, but having Kelce being there with him and the rest of this offensive line too. So I think Kelce's going to be a really fantastic coach going forward, and I hope it starts out with him being an assistant guy. So he will be around the team. Don't know as what, if he's just hanging around, or is he actually going to have a label to his name as a coaching staff and the coaching staff. So very excited for that. So other than that, that's pretty much it. We got Xavier McKinney talking some Eagles stuff. I'm really excited about it. HaasonReddick and the compensation. Do you think a third and a fifth is fair? Do you think a second-round pick is fair? And do you think the Eagles got to move up in this draft to get another second-round pick? There's no excuse for it. We've talked about Jason Kelce, Zach Ertz to the Commanders, and it is what it is. You guys let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. Like the stream. It does help. I'm sorry, like the video. Sorry. I'm all over the place today. Make sure you like the video. It does help out the channel out fantastically. And I will see you guys on the next one. Shakes what up, file slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.